Welcome back to Return to Self, Episode 4, The Relationship You Have with Yourself, created and narrated by myself, Dawn Appel. One of the greatest lessons I have ever learned came from the relationships I had. For years, I believed I was searching for someone to complete me, make me feel safe, someone who would choose me and make me feel that I was good enough. What I didn't realize at the time, that I was attracting relationships that reflected my inner torment and the relationship that I had with myself. Of course, I didn't understand it then. I simply believed I had been sent to people to make them feel better about themselves. But unbeknown to me, I was neglecting my true identity all along. In 2012, when I realized there was something wrong within me, I began my healing journey and something extraordinary became clear. Many of the relationships I had with partners and friends were built upon shared insecurities and inauthenticities. Both of us seeking something outside of ourselves that could only ever be created within us. Having completed my healing journey, I can see very clearly that I formed trauma bonds with partners whose behavior was external to my internal nervous system, and in fact, their reactions to situations was actually my nervous system asking me to acknowledge past emotional wounds and to heal them, because this feeling was information, not my identity. Of course, at the time, I didn't recognize it was a pattern which came from my childhood of feeling neglected, abandoned, alone, and unsafe. Now I operate from peace and understanding, and I see every situation and relationship was sent to me in order to reveal unresolved hurt within me. We have been programmed to blame and seek evidence outside of us to justify why these experiences continue showing up. They reflected what I doubted in my own self-worth and value, where I abandoned and neglected myself, where I searched outside for love before fully discovering it had always been within me. I convinced myself and the world that I was strong, brave, and capable of achieving anything, but it was only masking the healing that was necessary inside. This awareness changed everything for me. It changed the question from, why does this keep happening to me, to, what is this relationship revealing about the relationship I have with myself? That question transformed my whole life, because every relationship was a mirror of my inner torment. I understood that the freedom was in the forgiveness, not at this point to forgive others, but to forgive myself for the constant neglect. The importance of removing blame, denial, and excuses was imperative. This allowed me to reveal the portal to my true self and have the healthiest relationship I've ever had with my true identity. Not every person who enters your life is meant to stay, because most have been sent to you for you to recognize what the soul is actually deserving of. Some people arrive to teach you, some show up to reveal necessary healing, others arrive to love you and walk beside you. Everyone shows up with a purpose. Every experience and encounter has value, only when you're willing to learn from it. For years, I hoped someone else would save me, but I continued to attract people who also needed saving. Therefore, the quest was unresolved. For the only person who can save you is the person who created the reason that you needed to be saved. I realized I was simply waiting for myself. I have a saying, we have always had the key to unlock the cage that we put ourselves in. I was waiting for the version of me that finally recognized that the safety I had been searching for had always been within me. It was waiting patiently for me to acknowledge it. That was one of my most liberating moments of my life. Taking accountability and responsibility allowed me to return to my own heart without any pressure. I was reunited with freedom and self-control. I no longer needed another person to convince me that I was worthy or safe. Of course, other people's compliments, guidance, kindness, and acknowledgements are always beautiful, but no longer required to get us through life. Another one of my quotes that I live by daily: you can see everything in darkness when you close your eyes, and you can hear everything in silence when you choose to sit in solitude. Everything changed once I changed the way I treated myself and I reconditioned my own mind. When asked if I'm in a relationship, I will always say yes, I am in a balanced relationship with myself. Knowing this brought me to the place I am now. Knowing who I am allows me to know who is showing up, since they are a reflection of what I transmit out. The healthier your relationship becomes with yourself will result in healthy opportunities and people and outcomes. You naturally meet reciprocity as you practice consistently bringing peace into your life. You learn to create standards over boundaries and no longer chase validation or approval. Once you choose to live in your true authentic self, everything becomes aligned. Standards invites respect, while boundaries have walls. When you make decisions that say, I honor myself, I respect my peace, I choose relationships where honesty, kindness, and mutual authentic growth is present. You will no longer spend your time and energy convincing someone to see your value. You simply continue becoming the person you were always created to be. The right people will recognize this naturally. Love also begins to change. Many of us were taught that love is something we look for or find. I believe that love is something we remember, and so it becomes an invitation. The more deeply you reconnect with yourself, the more naturally love begins flowing through every part of your life. You begin recognizing the habits of finding fault with yourself, and you start appreciating your strengths, your peace, experiences, and even start to accept your imperfections. All the chapters that once caused you pain revealed that we had to go through the pain in order to get to the healing, and through the darkness in order to reach the light, and through the noise to get to the silence. Imagine waking up every morning and choosing to fall in love with your own life. Please know how wealthy you will feel when you do this. Amplify the relationship with your heart, growth, and presence, and practice gratitude and acceptance with compassion. When you genuinely appreciate yourself and value yourself, you will no longer spend your life asking another person to complete what already exists within you. Love will no longer feel like something you have to earn, because it's something you naturally express and carry. Then, things and people equally healthy will be recognized, invited, and welcomed into your life. This is why I always encourage people to return to themselves. It brings you back to your true identity, your worth, your body, breath, heart, and mind, your truth and peace, your love for yourself. The relationship you build with yourself becomes the foundation for every other relationship you create. If your inner world is filled with criticism and fear, you'll seek evidence to believe that criticism and fear is normal. But when your inner world is filled with compassion, love, and kindness, it begins flowing into your internal dialogue. Everything starts with you. This is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming present. As many of you have heard me say, you are not learning how to be your new self. You are remembering how to be your true self. Remain present with your thoughts, feelings, choices, heart, and integrity. Equanimity in relationships begin when you are in a balanced relationship with yourself first. The love you once believed existed somewhere outside of you has always been growing inside of you. From that place, love becomes an invitation rather than a search. It becomes an experience you share, not from something you chase. That is why I no longer ask, who will love me? I know I am inviting love in a way that honors the love I already have within me. This can change your life too. The more you return to yourself, the more you will recognize everything you didn't know you deserved. Your authentic identity has been patiently waiting within you all along. So, be the change that you wish to see in others around you.